Welcome to TalkAboutTopeka.com. I'm Chris Schultz. On this episode, I'm going to be speaking with Scott Gales, an architect with Architect One. He is right across the street from where we park our blimp all the time. This episode's brought to you by Field of Greens, a garden bistro in downtown Topeka. It's like totally my favorite place, duh. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode because it all starts right now.
You had a plenty money to get me some money. Had a plenty money to get me some money.
Hey, how are you, Scott?
Good.
To
Welcome
see
to
you.
Architect One.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming by.
I've wanted to get over here, and I said I'm not going to come over until we could have you on the show because I wanted to experience this place like the magic of seeing an old building come to life, and that's what it has done here. It's beautiful. Tell us about this thing.
Well, it's an exciting project. We bought the building March 1st, and it's been a project. Mm-hmm. It had about 3 months worth of construction. We had to demo it bare. It had a bad mold problem and had required a lot of remediation, and so we stripped it bare. It was basically open from front to back wall and all the way from that building over there, the 1880s building, to our end wall here. And then from there, we kind of came in with our new layout, and what you're going to see today is what we've come up with, and we're nearly finished.
Well, it's spectacular. I'll tell you, I have been, I'm across the street from you guys, and I've been looking at this building just sit here and do nothing, and it's been hurting my heart for so long.
It is a long ways to walk.
Well, and it's a cool building. I'm
is.
so glad we can have a use for it, and to see, a couple of new neighbors moving into the neighborhood down here. It's been a big thing. I know that sign was in the window for a long time for sale, and I'd heard the stories of the mold, and I thought, oh gosh, somebody's going to knock it down, and I'm so glad you didn't.
Well, we're grateful there was enough there to work with that once we were able to get it clean and cleared out, we were able to come in and do a layout that we felt worked for us for a design firm. Mm-hmm. And we love being downtown. When I started with my business partner Mike Wilson back in 1993, we were actually in the old Columbian Title and Trust building. And after a year, we kind of had outgrown our space, and just for one reason or another, we ended up on the west side of town. It was just kind of the place to go at the time, and it's just a natural evolution for us to come full circle, and it's exciting to be back down. I remember what I liked about being here the first time, and then it's tenfold greater. So
excellent, yeah. Well, take us on a tour of the place.
Well,
let's see what you got.
Obviously we're unlike our old place. We have a nice lobby now. We're able to kind of welcome our clients in, and we've got lots of natural sunlight. Some of it was part of the original windows, which you're going to see, and then some of it we cut openings into the existing walls that weren't there. The light wasn't there, so we're bringing the light inside the middle of the building, which just makes it seem that much nicer. So,
and you guys have been working on this, so you might see a little work paper and all that around here, but it's a constant process, isn't it?
Well, we moved in with a little bit of work to do, so it's kind of wrapping up the loose ends. We've kind of been all the touch-up paint. The paint's always the last thing. You want everybody out of here, and so we've fortunately wrapped up everything else, and the painter's able to do his final touch-up work, which you're going to see it makes it look pretty cool. So,
well, first and foremost, the staircase that you guys were able to keep.
Yeah,
that's original.
It is original, 1961. Obviously, that's not old by today's standards, but it is. It's cool in that normally we wouldn't be able to do a circular stairway as a main approach, but we're able to keep this. So, we're able to use the elevator, and it kind of gives that entrance into our upper level office.
It is a grand entrance. It's pretty cool.
Makes it a lot of fun. So, and then by cutting the openings out to our outdoor office space, brings all the natural light into the lobby space. So you don't just come up into a dark area. It just makes it.
We'll end our tour there. I can't wait to get out to that place because that's pretty cool. It has the best view in the city.
We like our clients when they arrive to be part of the experience. We've prepared a nice conference room space that opens up onto the avenue. We kept the original window openings. We just put all new windows, new sills. We stripped the plaster that was on the party wall that we share with the building next door off, and it almost created kind of a mosaic art with all the field stone and the original brick. So those are openings that were in the original 1880 building when the building here was, from that era. And it was torn down before the building built in 1961, obviously. So our building is a modern building by today's standards. It's steel and concrete, which gives us a lot of flexibilities, whereas an older building has a lot more character in some cases, but you have to deal with some of the older aspects of construction methodology. So,
well, it always makes me wonder, why did they cover those walls with plaster when they had something that cool when they built these things originally, or in their renovations, or however they did it?
It's funny because sometimes we'll have clients that want that kind of wall, with a veneer that's not authentic, and they'll pay extra for it. Whereas in our case, we had to strip the plaster off to get the authentic part. So it's the cool factor is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so
it really is.
This room's about it's about 50% bigger than the space we had before, so it allows us to entertain our clients. Our office has grown, so we can hold all our staff meetings in here now, and utilizing modern technology. We have the video boards, and it's a nice space to welcome our clients and to also kind of present who we are as an architectural firm. So plus then having the view on the avenue just keeps us engaged in the downtown. So what we've been able to do is moving from the southwest part of town, we were in 1,800 square feet, and coming over here, we're now in about 4,100 square feet. So we got a lot more elbow room. We were able to kind of create some of these more convenient spaces that we didn't have over there, and make it so when clients come, we've kind of got separated the back operation space with kind of the front office space.
Sure.
So we used the wall side where we shared space or shared the party wall next door as kind of where the principal's offices are and our meeting rooms, and then the other half of the building where we were able to open up the windows in the wall is where we've put all the offices for our staff and our design staff, and the workspace. So it kind of keeps a lot of natural light in. The rooms are open, so it lets the light filter all the way through. So it makes for nice space, and it makes it feel open when you come through. It's not all cut up into small spaces. So
It really is. Really is a nice feeling.
plenty of room to expand and grow. We've designed it so we can add additional staff. As our success would come along, we've made sure that we've added enough design space in here so that we have rooms that we can use now for things like samples and supplies, but we could also, if we add business partners, we could turn it into another principal's office.
Sure.
Coming through here, we have kind of privacy, but we also have openness so that folks can collaborate and utilize the space, and
nice.
everybody's able to get back here and work with minimal distraction, but they can get around easily and enjoy it. So we're unique in that our building doesn't go all the way back to the alleyway, which is a benefit when you're downtown because folks talk about parking.
Yeah.
So we were fortunate, kind of the back third of our lot is a parking lot.
Absolutely.
So
that's
that's nice.
something everybody talks about.
It's when you're not having to use a parking garage, it's a benefit for us. It's a benefit for our clients. Now, obviously, you can park on the avenue for a couple hours, but for us, it's convenient that we have enough stalls for as many as 16 vehicles
That's
right on our
great.
site, and that's unusual downtown. So made the property that much more valuable to us.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
anyway.
Definitely a nice trait.
Well, why don't we go to our special space, which is our outdoor office, and I'll show you what we've been able to put together there.
I'm ready to see it.
Since this building was originally housing a savings and loan, it had a drive-through. There's only 4 of them downtown right now. By that meaning that space where you can pull through and do a transaction, like a bank transaction. So I think only 2 of them now are actually being used by lending institutions. So ours was one of them that hadn't been used in many years. Zerker originally used it as a drop-off for their film business, but
So we're on top of the drive-through.
we're on top of the drive-through.
How cool.
And in this case, this was dead space. It wasn't being used for anything. In fact, the wall to the avenue went all the way up to the height of our building. It was about 15 feet tall. And we climbed up a ladder, and we were standing out here, and it didn't drain off, so there's about 2 inches of water in here. And we're kind of thinking, God, this seems like such wasted space. Can we build out onto here? Can we, use a tenant on the lower level and come up through the roof and actually have kind of a bonus tenant space here? And we got to brainstorming, and we thought, wouldn't it be awesome if we had our own outdoor space? And we got to looking at this wall, and we talked to some guys that are, specialize in demolition, and they said, there's nothing keeping us from taking that wall down and come out here and use this outdoor space. And so we went through the exercise, demoed the wall down, trimmed it out, put the openings that we talked about that bring the natural light in. Well, those kind of also allow us to kind of engage the space and a doorway. And then recently we just completed kind of the base part of our patio deck here, and are kind of working now on the furnishings on how we're going to detail it out. But it's approximately 30 by 30. We're calling it the outdoor office. It's unique. There's not
we
too
all
many of
want
these
one of
down.
those.
Yeah, absolutely. Since we do a lot of stuff with Wi-Fi connectivity in our office, our iPads and laptops allows us to come out here and hold just as quality a meeting with our clients on a nice morning or afternoon out here on the patio, as well as we would do inside. So once we have it furnished and we can entertain our clients or hold evening events out here, and maybe even allow events that are occurring downtown to be hosted up here. So we're pretty excited about it. It's a unique space. There's not too many of them like this on the avenue. In our particular case, you come walking out and you are here on the avenue. For us, this feels like the big city.
Yeah, it is.
This is without being in Chicago or New York, this is our version of Chicago or New York here in Topeka. So
That's right.
That's a lot of fun. We worked with a lot of trades and craftsmen around town to get the finishes the way we wanted them, and to trim it out, because we wanted it to be nice for our standards, but we wanted to also show our clients what they could do with similar spaces.
Sure.
Our hope is that people come up here and see not only what we've done with our space, but what other folks have done downtown, and say, using a little creativity or kind of inspiration, look at all the other buildings that have very similar opportunities with them and say, wow, we could do that too. And we didn't break the bank doing this. We spent a little money to do it. It's not cheap, but the return on it is far more than what we would have spent if we would have bought a piece of dirt and tried to recreate it from scratch.
Yeah.
We're in for about half the cost of what it would have cost us to do it from ground up. So that's what's amazing. And
especially talking about what's to come with the downtown plan. I mean,
Absolutely.
You've got plazas in the middle of the street. This is going to be a great view for that. The parades.
Yeah.
This is you got something right here, buddy.
It is fun. It's exciting. It really is, because you go tour other communities that have started a little sooner than we did as a community in refurbishing their downtown and reinvesting in it, and you see what they've come up with and the reinvestment that's come after the initial investment, and you keep thinking, wow, with every opportunity something like this comes up and somebody makes that investment, you just make it that much more unique.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
We're
That's
pumped
right.
about it. So
You got a great seat over here. Let's take a seat for a minute.
Yep. We got to get some cocktails.
Yeah.
So, too bad I don't have a waitress on staff.
I'll just snap across the street. Very cool. It's just a wonderful day in downtown Topeka, and I mean, we're talking about things happening in downtown. And you guys did, and you said earlier, you were all around and you decided to come downtown. Why did you do that?
Well, Mike, my business partner, is originally from Topeka, and I'm not. I'm from a small town, but when I grew up, our downtown, our main street, was kind of the hub of the town. That's where everything happened. We'd go down there on Wednesdays or Thursday evenings, and the stores would be open, and that's where the movie theater was. And I kind of grew up in a community where everyone you knew, you saw them downtown. If it wasn't a school function, it was downtown. And so it was part of my raising. It was part of what I expected kind of community life would be. So, coming to Topeka and initially starting in the downtown area, I liked it. My wife is an RN, and so she would always go to work early. I would come downtown early. I would go eat breakfast at the Downtowner, and I would come over and work at our office. And then you'd eat downtown. Many times I would never go anywhere in my car unless I had to go run an errand, for business purposes, because we did a lot of our transaction downtown.
Yeah.
Well, I found that after we moved southwest with our office, and I liked the office we were in. We owned it, and I liked that part of town. It's a nice area, but anytime we had to do something, I had to hop in my car, whether it was to go eat lunch or to meet with clients, unless they were coming to our office.
Yeah.
We were constantly traveling, and we spent a lot of our time traveling to meetings or events in the downtown area. And I've kind of found that since we've moved here in June, which it's now getting 2.5, 3 months, I've only been to that part of town 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And yet there's days here, 2 or 3 days a week, where my car never leaves the drive-through where we park.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of my transactions, meeting clients at a coffee shop, or I'm meeting at a restaurant for lunch, or
And you have a spectacular place now that they're going to want to come and meet
in
you
fact,
at.
we've found that it's made it that much more interesting. Folks want to come down here and visit our space, or they've got other business to do down here, and so they're coming down here to do other transactions, stopping in to meet with us. Whereas where we were located on the southwest part of town, it was a great setting, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like that was the core of where commerce and business occurred. I mean, it was a perfect setting for a suburban style office environment, but it wasn't suitable to do a concentrated amount of business. It's exciting for us. We like the energy of being down here. Our staff like the cool kind of environment of being in the downtown. They also like being able to walk and go eat lunch or go get a snack, or after work we walk over to Celtic Fox or some of the other places and get a cold beer. So
Yeah.
that it is a convenience factor that
Absolutely.
being downtown that you don't do somewhere where you have to drive to work and then drive anywhere else. So
And I mean, I know myself, and I've been seeing a lot of folks, moving their businesses, sure, but a lot of people are moving their residences down here. I did, and
Yeah.
there's several others in our block here that have, one of them sold their house in Sherwood and bought a place and lives down here now. And there's a lot of energy and drive about living down here, which is another great thing happening.
I think for folks that don't necessarily need a yard, or they're at a place in their life where having an outdoor yard, for kids to run around is not where they're at in life anymore, or they're young professionals and haven't gotten to a point where that's important to them, and living in a downtown setting in an apartment, maybe even with a balcony or something that overlooks the avenue, is an experience that's exciting, and it's got a lot of energy, and it allows you to do kind of some things kind of on an urban scale and kind of an urban lifestyle that we see in the big cities, but people don't kind of realize that opportunity is here in downtown. It's just taking advantage of it. And the reality is there are quite a few buildings down here that are just perfect fits. If folks want to come down and using a little creativity, think through how they can reinvest in them and do it in a way they don't necessarily break the bank, but they can either do it kind of in a phased level, or approach it from the perspective of we only need to have it so much finished because we can live in it a little bare bones and make improvements as we go.
Yeah.
But many of us buy a home when we get started with the same mindset. We buy kind of in a starter level, and then we make improvements, and then we either
Turn it
outgrow
into
it or
something we want,
right,
or-
and then we transition to something different in life, and we flip it and kind of get a return on our investment. That opportunity exists downtown, especially if you're a small business owner like yourself and you want a storefront to start your business, or to expand your business and live upstairs. Hey, there's lots of that opportunity, and I think folks are now kind of seeing that it's been a missed opportunity for the last several decades, and kind of rethinking that. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I absolutely think, and I know you guys have been really involved with the downtown plan that's been going on. Kind of talk about your involvement a little bit with that.
So really the project, what it is it's a 4-block area of Kansas Avenue from 6th Street to 10th Street. It's part of the avenue that has really not had any improvements on it for more than 25 years. Now, we're not talking the buildings, we're talking about the right-of-way where the streets and the utilities and the walks are. And if you walk the avenue, you can see that it is in disrepair and
needs some help.
It does, and it kind of is looking rough around the edges. So it's been 5 or 10 years in the makings as far as, hey, it's time to do something. It's also kind of a way to step back and look, if we're going to make those improvements, what can we do here to really kind of make it unique and make it express who we are as a community, do it in a way that maybe tells a little bit about the history of who we are as a community and as a state, and with the kind of reemergence of the arts community that's come out of the Noto project on the north side of the river, maybe take advantage of kind of a way to showcase some of the creativity and sculpture and art in the downtown area, and maybe integrate that into the design of how things are put into the avenue. The focus is on kind of the pedestrian experience. We heard time and again, cars don't buy things, people do. So when we approach the solution for how to finalize the designs, we want to make it a pedestrian experience. And you can go to communities in the northern half of the United States and the southern half of the United States, and you might say it's too hot to have an outside downtown, or it's too cold, and yet you go to those places and you visit them, whether it's in the Rockies or in Minnesota or what have you, and they have fantastic downtown areas that are outdoor oriented, and because people take advantage of them year round, they make do with it, and they reinvest in it, and I think that's what's exciting to see happen. Where we're at, kind of a brief summary. The engineering team that's redesigning all the utility infrastructure, as well as the traffic roads and walks, are nearing kind of their preliminary design concepts, which is allowing us then to kind of move in and start to engage the various design ideas that are being integrated into the pedestrian or walk areas, and start to tie everything together. It's late August, and I'm guessing in the next 4 to 6 weeks you'll start to see some of the kind of final conceptual designs come out and be made public. So the hope being is that as early as next, probably February and March, you'll actually see kind of the full-on construction start. And right now I think they're going to approach it from doing, one side of the avenue, the east or the west side first, and go kind of basically from 6th to 10th or 10th to 6th and finish that side. That way traffic can continue on the other side.
Sure.
And then flip over and do the other side. So kind of one side will be done in 2014, the other side will be done in 2015.
Very interesting.
There's a lot of work to be done below grade, and the cool thing about it is in the next month they're going to have an actual scheduled event where they're going to block off about half a block, kind of define the area and bring in some heavy equipment and actually dig a large opening in the ground and expose
the touch-a-truck thing.
Yes, well in this case they're going to expose the old trolley tracks.
Oh, cool.
And let everybody see what was originally there, back in the early 20th century. So
that
cool. Was a pretty substantial transportation system down through downtown, and it kind of spread out east and west of Topeka. Actually went as far as Shawnee Lake. So
that's right. And a lot of this stuff that people are surprised, would be very surprised if they knew what was underneath this. So I think there's going to be
why not have some
surprises.
Fun with it?
That's right.
Let's have a reason for people to come downtown. So
hopefully we don't find Jimmy Hoffa.
We'll finally put that to rest.
Yeah, exactly.
No, so we're excited about it. I think what's great is to see all the folks that have gotten involved and kind of the community interest. And what's amazing is, even though the work hasn't started and there's some anxiety about the impact that it could have on the smaller businesses, I think I heard recently DTI said as many as 5 buildings have been purchased in the last 6 months alone downtown, which is more that occurred in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So I think folks are kind of waking up to the idea that now's the time to reinvest downtown.
It's happening. And the interesting part that I think is cool is that you've got 2 components to this thing, and how people are donating a lot of money over here to put in these amenities to make this something special. The community is doing that. The city has realized that there's problems with this infrastructure, not only with the streets, but that we've got flooding sewers. They're putting their chunk in. The private sector's putting their chunk in, and this is the thing that has been, the input from the community has been asked for in mass. And so this input's been put together. The funding has been working together. This is a community-wide thing here. This isn't just one person making this happen.
Nope.
There are a lot of people who have really come to the table to make this happen for the good of the city.
Yes, it's interesting you say that. In May, there was a group that got together and took kind of a non-performing foundation and kind of retooled it and got it geared back up. It was kind of put together 20 years ago to kind of oversee the improvements in downtown, but was never utilized, and so that foundation was kind of re-energized. Started engaging the community in making those private dollar contributions for the amenity package that we've talked about, that the city had tasked us with doing when they made the pledge of nearly $6 million for the roads and utilities. The city said, look, we expect you to raise about $1.8 million. And that seemed a little overwhelming at first, but there was a couple core businesses that stepped up and made a fairly sizable contribution. To date, we have over 40 donors. That's just in that 3-month window that we've been doing this actively, and we've raised nearly $1.7 million of the 1.8. So we are nearly at the original goal. And since work won't start till next spring on the actual implementation of everything, it's our goal to kind of exceed that and kind of have a little reserve, as well as maybe make sure we can do all the enhancements we'd like to do when it's all said and done. So it's exciting to see that as a community we responded to that challenge from our city council and have stepped up and backed that up with the private dollars. So that's pretty exciting.
I think it is too. It's a good reason to be a Topekan, folks.
Absolutely.
Well, Scott, thank you so much for having us.
You bet.
You really have done some spectacular work, and welcome back to the downtown area. We're glad to have you here.
You don't need an invitation, Chris. You're always welcome to come over, and I'm guessing you'll probably see us over here a lot. So
we're going to put the zip line in right over here.
Well, we'll put our orders in on a regular basis. You don't have to deliver them personally, but once they're here, you're always welcome to come over.
Awesome.
So,
very good. Very
thanks
good.
for coming by.
Hey, thank you. We
You
really
bet.
appreciate it. Great work here.
Well, we appreciate it. We've still got some loose ends, but when it's all said and done, we're excited to be downtown, and we're excited what we've been able to do with the building in order to move here. So,
Thank you, Scott.
thank you.
Busy